Lauren.
Hello.
All right, I'm going to start introductions while we just allow folks to log in right now. So,
Sure.
hi, everybody. My name's Olivia Maya Ortiz, and I'm an educator here at the School for Advanced Research's Indian Arts Research Center. Thank you for joining us tonight for another installation of our SAR Artist Live series, where viewers get to jump behind the scenes and into the workspaces of many talented artists. And I'd like to thank the City of Santa Fe Arts and Culture Department and the 1% Lodgers Tax for partially funding this program as well. Tonight we're joined by Loren Aragon here, who's an Acoma artist, a former mechanical engineer turned full-time fashion designer. Loren is the co-founder and designer for ACONAV, a couture fashion brand that strives to evoke the empowerment of women with positive ideas by tying culture to modern style. But I'm going to let Loren tell us a bit more about that himself. Over the years, Loren's artistic practice has taken on many different forms through illustration, sculpture, jewelry, and of course, his fashion design. And Loren is also a member of the Pueblo Pottery Collective. So tonight we're here to discuss and further explore the exhibition grounded in clay, the Spirit of Pueblo Pottery. And this exhibition is curated by the Native communities it represents. The project works to give authority and voice to the Pueblo Pottery Collective, which is a group of over 60 individual members of 21 tribal communities. And each member selected and wrote about pieces from two significant Pueblo pottery collections, one of them being the Indian Arts Research Center here at the School for Advanced Research, and the other is the Vilcek Foundation of New York. So before we get going, just want to remind you folks, this is meant to be an informal, fun chat. Please feel free to utilize the comment box at the bottom of the screen. If you hear something you like, send those heart emojis over. We just welcome all of the feedback and conversation. I think I got my end of things done, Lauren. Thanks for being patient.
Yeah, no worries.
Would you like to introduce yourself in your own words?
Yeah, koatsi hopa tawashino me haka ak erste kutsanorsta ako mestata kai tawa hopa etsi trayash up o tawa. That was my introduction in my native tongue, Karis. I am from the Acoma Pueblo, and my name is Loren Aragon. I am co-founder of ACONAV, which is a Native American couture fashion brand that was based out of Arizona. It's now based out of New Mexico, and celebrates the strength and empowerment of women worldwide through designs that tie culture to modern style. A lot of my designs are representative of the Acoma Pueblo pottery art, which we're mostly known for, and a lot of our matrilineal ideas, our cultural background, the things that we believe in of the living world, represented through fashion. It's always my dream to bring forth a lot of my culture in some kind of art form. I really couldn't do that as an engineer, and it was so great to be able to have family doing a lot of that already, and really kind of being the inspiration behind what I do now. In fashion and other art forms.
Yeah, thank you. Do you still work alongside some of your family members in ACONAV?
Yeah, so my mother is still a huge part of the whole deal. She's been my sewing hand since we began. Of course, my partner Valentina and I started the company back about a little bit more than that, about 9 years ago, as just a greeting card company. I was making greeting cards all through probably junior high through high school and a little bit of college, just to make some money on the side, and just rediscovered my talents in doing that. And Val came on by adding a little touch of scrapbooking to my work, and there was a little bit of a collaborative business there that became ACONAV. And we did greeting cards for a couple years, and traveled all throughout the Southwest, just to different arts and crafts places. And in the meantime, I was working as an engineer in Arizona, mechanical engineer, mechanical design, specifically designing just about everything from, well, designing test design equipment to military applications. And the last was working as a design engineer for a company that did virtual training for military and law enforcement. And although my passion there was really great, I had a newfound passion for art ever since, I want to say 2009, coming to the Santa Fe Indian Market for the very first time. I'd never been in all the years of living in New Mexico in the Southwest.
Yeah.
I always heard about it, how crazy it was. And what drove me there were a couple of friends and that were really into the art that was evolving at the time, and wanted to see for myself what Native creatives were doing. So got to see it firsthand, and it was really inspired by how our art was very unique, in that culture was involved with a lot of what was being made or what was being created. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to do some of that somehow. As an engineer, and I think living outside of my community, that was even more of a benefit to me, because I got to look back into my community and see exactly what was going on there, or see what was missing, see where I might be able to bring my talents or bring my skills back to influence others to do something creative. I really wanted to honor my grandfather's teachings in our culture, and his big thing was preserving our language and preserving just our practices and everything we do. But how do you do that? How do you do that through engineering? How do you do that through something that's so unrelated to our culture? And like I said, lucky for me, my family had been in the arts. My mother and my aunt were seamstresses for all through their lives, and I had a lot of grandmothers that did pottery, and a father that did leatherwork, an uncle who did silversmithing. So I saw all of it, and I was really happy to see a lot of that. And my grandfather was a carpenter as well, and a mechanic with my uncle. So a lot of different things and influences all throughout growing up that kind of all came to a point, a bottleneck, where I really wanted to get back in tune with doing what we do, what we're known for, pottery. But living in Arizona and away from all that was really hard. And working as an engineer at the time still was very time consuming. So I started out with just the little things, again, the greeting cards and a little bit of illustration. Again, saw the Indian market for the first time, was further inspired, and started having a side hustle, the traditional side hustle, which seems to be a lot of what Native's doing now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that little bit of inspiration really took me a long way. And in about the time I started to want to actually learn how to sew, Phoenix Fashion Week was starting to become a big thing in Arizona, and I attended for the first time and saw it from the sidelines, and saw it full runway, and was just kind of taken aback by, where are all the natives? Not seeing a single native on that runway. What was, I think, the big pushover to want to get into fashion. And I think everything else kind of came into line with people loving my illustrations and telling me I would love to see that on a t-shirt or something that I could wear. So all those different elements just kind of pushed me over into wanting to do fashion. And I started out in apparel, screen printing. A friend of mine who just jumped back into screen printing, or who jumped into screen printing, was able to reach out and do a couple prints for me. And that's really kind of what pushed me more all the way into fashion. In that, just before that, I had gone into sculpture with gourd work and jewelry, silversmithing, all of which were actually challenges too, because there was so many great artists already doing a lot of great things. And just I think the biggest challenge I came upon when I came into the native art scene was how can you be different? How can you do something that stands out from a lot of these other already great artists? So
Yeah.
I'm happy that I could bring all that together and really kind of establish something that worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, your work is really beautiful, and I think maybe for folks who are watching this now or will watch it later, you know, you are influenced by Acoma pottery, and that's some of the design work that we see on own your own designs, your own textiles, so to speak. Can you tell us a bit about, you know, in your entry for Grounded in Clay, you also kind of discuss what makes Acoma pottery unique. What are some features that might, or characteristics that might distinguish it? You know, can you just tell us how you work with the pottery, and like how do you be influenced by it without directly replicating or copying? I know that's something people think, artists think about a lot. You know, how do
Yeah,
you make it your own?
yeah, totally. And you know, a lot of respect to the families that have carried on pottery as a tradition for years. It's really great to see how a lot of designs have survived through future generations and a lot of family. And my family in particular had a lot of grandmothers, like I said, that did kind of their own art, and just I think from what I've learned and what I've seen is like their designs really kind of stood apart from a lot of the same old. And I'm not one for repetitiveness, and it's just something that I don't know. I get bored real quick, so that's my thing. I always have to switch gears. I always have to do something, and do something in repetition. Just it kills my imagination really fast. And so I think with the challenge was, yeah, extracting designs. Again, I think standing away from it, being away from all of that as an engineer, and living away from home allowed me to really appreciate the detail and the artistry that was really part of clay and part of pottery making. And that I think helped me understand that pottery needs a future. And I saw that there was that art was kind of stagnant in our community. People are already doing a lot of great things with pottery, so which is the reason why I didn't really go down that path and decided to do something different. I could see designs on other things. I could see our design work being represented in something you could wear and not just appreciate on a shelf or in museums. I wanted people to be the canvas. I wanted people to be wearers of my creation and be able to show it in their lives, in their day-to-day things. And so it just made sense that pottery needed to be represented, or Pueblo art needed to be represented in fashion somehow. And my early stages of designing was going to shop at Joann or any kind of local stores for fabric, but was quickly disappointed to see that a lot of the Pueblo inspired or native inspired prints were just a hodgepodge of a lot of different cultures, and not very one unique or one distinct culture. So that again was another pushover to say, well, I want to develop my own fabric. I want to start using my own things and my own designs and get these printed for me somehow, so that I can design my own work and have a true Pueblo representation in fashion. So with all my experience in engineering, he just was able to find sources to do that. And I was able to design my first couple of traditional garments, which at the time was my introductory with my mother and my aunt, who taught me how to do all that. And I still do from time to time. But again, I think the engineering side of me really was more into doing something more complicated, to getting to know how garments were constructed, and fell in love with a lot of different artists, fashion designers, couture fashion designers that had their unique styles and complicated garments, and wanted to be a part of that, wanted to put my know-how to doing something in that. And I think that was a big challenge in itself, moving from engineering, which is more straight lines, sharp angles and a lot of metal, to something more organic and things that flowed, things that, were all new materials to me. So I think ever since I saw Santa Fe Indian Market, again, it was always a challenge, or I always made it a challenge to myself to be different, to try to step away from the mundane, and just do something that people hadn't seen.
Yeah. Kind of going back to the design work that you use, and the exhibition and the catalog, you talked about an Acoma water jar. I have a picture I can show folks. But you talk about symbols of life and some of the stories associated with the parrot. For folks who may be unfamiliar, can you just tell us a little bit about, what you were speaking on? And I have the image up here.
Yeah.
Beautiful pottery vessel.
Yeah. So.
I just want to see.
So the story of the parrot, with me was kind of caught my attention through a cousin of mine who does pottery and had her own style of parrot design work. And I was very inquisitive through different elders in the family and in our community to ask about, what was the whole thing about the parrot? Like, why? It seems unlikely that a bird like that would exist here. First of all, being a nerd, just why would we choose a parrot, and how does it play into our clan system? A lot of different stories came about, and a lot of them were more about, well, the trades from the Spaniards coming from the south. They brought birds, they brought the feathers, and we traded, and the colors were just so beautiful that we started incorporating them into headdresses for dancing, or in our different cultural regalia. And the other side of that was that it's possible that the parrot actually migrated this far north into New Mexico territory when the monsoons came. So in a sense, it was also looked upon as like the thunderbird. And in like months just before I got roped into the Grounded in Clay exhibition, I sat down with a grandmother of mine, and she actually had a very interesting story about the parrot. And this is what I speak to in what I wrote for that piece, is that when Spaniards came, there's a history of a lot of our women and children that got taken from the tribe, or the Pueblo, and taken back down into South America or Mexico. And they weren't heard from or seen for years. But the idea is, or the story goes, that in years to follow, several women were actually returned back to the Pueblo, and knew a little bit of Acoma, could barely even communicate with the elders or any of the people at Acoma. And in their possession, they had parrots, and it made sense that these new or these people that returned, the elders thought that that they could definitely be descendants from families that were taken, and the parrot was actually given to them as their clan after that. And it was a really beautiful story, the way my grandmother told it, and tried to put it into words. Of course, it was all told to me in Acoma, so just trying to translate all that back into English for the book. And hope I did it justice. So if people can get the copy and read about it, it's I don't know, it's one of my favorite stories, and made the most sense to me.
Thank you for sharing with us. That's really lovely, and it's nice to hear it from you too, like, you know, straight from you. That might be, you know, a segue. One thing I was interested in learning more about was your just segueing into kind of in contemporary times, missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. You had a 2021 collection that I think spoke to some of those themes that Miss Northern Arizona actually, I don't know if she was the inspiration for it, or, you know, the dress, you know, could you tell us more about that collection? And then maybe also, what are you working on now?
Yeah, absolutely. So April Rose Tucker was named Miss Northern Arizona, and she came to me as her designer for the evening gown competition. And she had in her mind different elements that she wanted in this dress, and two of the key things were the phoenix, which is a mythical creature that rises from the ashes and is mostly represented with people who've kind of hit rock bottom, or are climbing their way back from a very tough life. And this was her. This was her, I guess, spirit animal, so to speak, and wanted to capture that somehow with the fire and the flame. And immediately the red and orange and yellows came to mind in collection. And what she also wanted to be most dominant in the color was red, to represent missing, murdered Indigenous women. And that was a campaign we really stood behind, and did our best to promote, and just really trying to generate awareness to all the injustices that families and victims face in that. And so it was a great undertaking to be her designer for that, and for the pageant, and to design her something unique, a one-of-a-kind dress. And what followed that later that year was a collection based around all of that. So a lot of reds, yellows, and golds that represented the flame, but again, the most dominant color being red, and which was represented in the Swaya Fashion Gala. And I honestly haven't released yet. Was really kind of something I wanted to get back, as far as the couture design goes, was really wanted to get back and do it more proper. So it had a really brief release, and something I want to touch on, and it leads to things that I'm still working on, or want to work on, with everything that happened during the pandemic. A lot of things shut down. Moving back to New Mexico to be with family, and just to be closer to the family that was going to be most affected. I think that's kind of like my rise, my rebirth from things that happened in the last 3 years, and want to get back into that, the whole couture thing. Really, in this time that we've been kind of quiet, really retouched on new skills and things that I've always wanted to try. Revisited a lot of design ideas that only got so far, and just I really didn't wasn't happy, I guess, with how they turned out. But with the new tools and skills that I've gained, are now making sense to doing it better, or doing it right. And again, I attribute a lot of that back to my engineering ways. It's just failing fast and trying to find a way forward immediately after that, learning from failures and mistakes, and really not calling it quits, but just trying to find and figure out better ways to do it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's artist life too. When is something ever really, you know, finished? But we can't discredit. You definitely have stayed busy. You know, I know you produced so many masks during COVID. I've seen that you have a new release of accessories. It looks like clutches or bags that you've just done.
Yeah.
You want to tell folks about that, or maybe where they can see some of your your works, either in person, online?
Yeah, totally.
We're in your studio. That's so cool.
Yeah. So, well, one of the things that came from being back in New Mexico is finding space to do work, and I'm actually here in Bernalillo, and behind me is my work area, which has been a mess because I'm getting ready to head out for a show this weekend, and so trying to rebuild inventory, and that's another thing that a lot of people that find interesting is that we do all the cut and sew in house, or I want to say probably about 90% of what we do is done and made in house. All the bag work is done on these very machines right here, and a lot of dresses have come through there, and that's what got me through pandemic too with the mask making. Behind me, I'm gonna flip this here. Are the bags you're talking about that just released about 2 weeks ago. These are a new vegan leather purses or crossbodies that I've developed. All the design work is my own. I do all this digitally, which is stuff I learned when I was an engineer and applying now to fashion accessories. The little clutches are, this is one of the bags previous to this collection, which is all canvas, and are still some pretty good big sellers out there.
Yeah, you have some comments that say, "I love the bags. They're so pretty."
Oh, yeah, thank you.
Folks saying that they love them.
Yeah, here's one in the black on black. So the colors for this are inspired by the collection in the ready to wear a few years ago, which has finally really kind of gained some ground, which came out right during pandemic time. So I wasn't really able to show it as successfully as I wanted to, but the ideas behind all this are rain. So the colors of the rain, of course, our art is always representative of the rain and the life that's brought from it. The lines representing the rainfall, mountains, vegetation, leaves, cloud pattern here. So all of that is just kind of displayed in various ways on these bags and in the apparel that actually came from this, and which is actually have hanging on the rack over here. So it's kind of empty on this side. I was sharing space with another person, but these are the dresses that were part of that collection.
And someone's asking, where can you find the bags?
They are online on my website at ACONAV.com. That's ACONAV.com. So I don't know if I can enter that. Let's see if I can comment that. There we go.
Yep, I see it. It popped up.
Yeah, and also just recently, and during the year when market was back, I partnered with one of the galleries, Samsville Gallery in Santa Fe, and they've given me some space where you can find some of my stuff. The vegan leather bags aren't there yet, but they will be there soon. But we've collaborated to do kind of a exclusive design pieces for them, and here's some samples that I've had that we're still trying to launch and get into store there.
Awesome.
Aside from that, my ladies, and no pillows. There's some kind of went crazy on figuring out what to do with a bunch of fabric and during a time when we were down, but some pillows came to life out of all that. And these are some of the throw pillows that I've shown on Instagram and are in display different places, and trying to launch these for some home decor items online and everywhere I go. Hopefully they'll be ready by the winter time.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. Are your studio still, I know you were kind of looking for interns before. Are those opportunities still available, or is there anything you want to share with folks about that?
Yeah, actually, internships are actually still something we're looking into. Would love to work with people who are in fashion programs or interested in getting into a fashion program, offering different ways to kind of help that along with them as well, as far as developing their skills and or working with their schools to bring them, push them forward in what they're doing. So I've had interns in the past that have gone into their own design work. It's great to see. And we actually did a fashion show with Iris Smith, who launched her first swimwear designs at Santa Fe, and she opened up for me at my own show, which was at the Asiquia Madre House in Santa Fe during market, and her swimwear brand is called Nabe Designs. So if you get a chance, check it out. Naabe. Iris Jean Smith is a designer, and yeah, she's come quite a ways from wanting to do something that represented culture, but in something that she loves to do, which is swimming.
Nice. Well, we're almost out of time. We touched on a lot of different topics, so it was really nice to catch up with you and see what you're working on. More folks saying that they love the pillows and designs. And I did see a question earlier that was asking about what is this book that we're referencing, and it's our exhibition catalog for Grounded in Clay. The exhibition's currently on view at the Museum of Indian Arts and Culture, MIAC, here in Santa Fe, and that'll be through May 2023. If you want to get your hands on one of those catalogs, I know they're on sale there. I'm not quite sure if they are available for purchase online yet, so that's my bad, and well, I will do my research. But we also have a website, Grounded in Clay website, which I will make sure we include in the comments, and you can actually go through there and look at images of the artworks that were discussed and see, see what's going on there. So that's groundedinclay.org. Beyond that, yep, they're also available online. I'm seeing the comment. They are available online. So that's the exhibition catalog we're talking about. With that being said, happy almost Friday, everyone. Loren, thanks for chatting with us and showing us into your studio. It's so cool to see what you've got going on.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and thanks for everyone coming to visit here in my studio virtually. Yeah, we're actually, I guess I mentioned early on, we're in the middle of a move. We're moving just down the street. We're here in Bernalillo, just off the first exit. I can never remember what the exit number is, but we're now going to be part of a little strip mall area just south of the Geek store here in Bernalillo, and we'll be announcing our opening. We hope to have a little storefront there so people can do a little bit of, and we will have a grand opening of some sorts to showcase things. And of course, I'm always open to customized designs, weddings, graduations, that kind of thing. So it'll give me a place to actually be able to meet with people and do more of that one-on-one kind of discussions with people who are interested in custom designs. But for now, things are moving forward with the bags. A huge, women love bags. People love.
Yeah.
So I'm just loving designing them and making them. And but as far as interns go, yes, we're still looking again, and also hope to do maybe a little bit of hiring to help me sew and get through some of these huge projects that are coming up. So be on the lookout for our announcements on social media. Of course, we're at ACONAV on IG and Facebook. You can see what's new and available to shop for at aconav.com, and I don't know what else. Thanks to the SAR for everything they've done. I was a fellow there.
We forgot to mention that.
Did a lot of cool stuff there, a lot of interesting advances for me as far as and things that I want, again, that kind of fell quiet during this whole pandemic, but I really want to get back into and incorporate into my new designs coming up. So one other big project thing that's going on is our made for her film. Actually designing the costumes for a fashion film that we're going to be developing here with Mesa Mountain Film. And so in the coming months, we'll be looking for sponsorships and the like, and announcing different things. We've done our casting and really trying to move forward with the team to get the filming started. So exciting.
Awesome. Exciting. You have so much going on. Congratulations on all of it. That's amazing. So.
Yes, backpacks. I see somebody commented backpacks. They're coming. I know it's a lot of work to try to develop.
Everyone's like, work harder, Loren. You're not doing enough.
I know. My team keeps telling me too, like, you need to do this. You're like, give me time, make me time.
You're like, when do I sleep? When do I eat? Oh.
I've already pulled several all-nighters here in the studio, which is good.
Oh man. Well, just keep at it then. No, I'm just kidding. I want some bags. Someone said clone him.
Somebody.
Yeah. Lots of folks saying thank you and congrats. Awesome. Well, we'll keep an eye on the feeds and for what you have going on. Thanks again, Loren, and thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
All right. Peace out, everybody. Thank you.
Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.